Welcome everyone to Discover This. Well, today if you're a skateboard fan, we got a little bit of skateboard history. If you're a punk rock fan, we got a little bit of punk rock history. And we're going to be merging the two and talking about skate punk today. So let's do it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Of course, as most of you know, skateboarding got its start in the late 40s or early 50s. But by the 60s, sidewalk surfing had become a thing. And of course, the famous folks would want to be photographed skateboarding, even if it was just for a few feet. I mean, Eddie Munster, The Who's Pete Townsend, and in later years, Farrah Fawcett even got her picture taken on a skateboard. But you had your rockers. I mean, besides Pete Townsend, AC/DC gave it a whirl. And rappers even got in on the action, like Eazy-E from MWA. You also had Adam from the Beastie Boys. Now, he was an avid skater. Maybe not a pro, but he loved skating. Skated whenever he could. But the advent of punk rock in the mid to late 70s got into the blood of some of these skaters, and punk and skateboarding were soon merged. And with that, you had some pro skaters, or semi-pro, or even heavy amateurs who ended up forming, or at least performing with punk bands. And you also had some punkers who just loved skating. But you had bands like Agent Orange, who were basically skate punk bands, still are to this day. I mean, Mike Palm from Agent Orange still skates. But you also had Jodie Foster's Army from the Arizona area. Great skate punk band. They still play today. Look for JFA at a place near you. Go check them out. I mean, my favorite skater of all time is Tony Alva. Sorry all you Tony Hawk fans, but I do like Tony Hawk too. But Alva's still a professional skater today in his 60s. But in the early 1980s, Tony Alva played bass for Venice-based punk rock band The Scoundrels. He then was in a very early edition of the band Junkyard, which still plays today, although without him. And then he formed GFP, General Effing Principle, with Greg Hetson from the Circle Jerks. And in the later 2000s, he formed His Eyes Have Fangs, which still performs once in a blue moon or so. But Alva wasn't the only pro to go punk. You also had Dwayne Peters. Great professional skateboarder. He would go on to form US Bombs. What an awesome punk band. But he also did Dwayne Peters Gunfight and Dwayne Peters and the Huns, later to be known as Die Huns. Punk bands also got into making videos. And you had Suicidal Tendencies with Institutionalized, featuring some skateboarders in the Venice, California area. But Lagwagon also jumped in on it, did a video featuring skateboarders. And you also had the great Pennywise with Same Old Story, featuring skateboarders. And what about Ron Emery from TSOL? He was a skater. TSOL still going today. Back in 2006, Ron Emery filled in at guitar for his buddy Mike Ness from Social Distortion after Ness broke his arm. Doing what? Yeah, that's right, skateboarding. But you also had Henry Rollins from Black Flag and the Rollins Band. He liked to skate. Ian McKay from Minor Threat and Fugazi. Sometimes they would skate together. But there was also Eric Von Arab from Love Canal, Darby Crash from the Germs. Now, skate parks at the time also bought into the whole punk rock thing, the marriage between punk rock and skateboarding. If you saw our Blink 182 video, you know Blink played at Missile Park Skate Park in San Diego. But you also had the Extreme Thing Festival, annual thing, out in Las Vegas at Desert Breeze Skate Park. And those shows were pretty awesome. But even back as early as 1980, Marina del Rey skate park, you had shows. You also had the Clash at Claremont annual event in San Diego. But even as recently as 2024 in Milwaukee, skate parks are still hosting punk shows. That's fantastic. But other pro skaters who went punk, how about Steve Caballero? He helped start the skate punk band The Faction up in San Jose, California. And he would play in some other bands for a time, but his latest punk band is Urethane. And they play all over the place. So catch him, Steve Caballero playing with Urethane, touring all over the US and the world even. And he still skates every chance he gets. Maybe not professionally, but even when he's on tour, he has his board with him. You also have Matt Hensley, very early pro skater. He's been a member of Flogging Molly from early on. And in 2018, Matt Hensley was inducted into the Skateboarding Hall of Fame. You also had Mario Rubalcaba. He was a pro skater. And he became a drummer. He's a drummer for Rocket from the Crypt, Hot Snakes, the Sultans. He became the drummer for Off with Keith Morris from Circle Jerks and Black Flag. And his current band, Earthless. And he still skates. But he also had Mike Vallely, who was a pro skater. He went punk. He joined the band Resistance, but only ended up playing one show. They actually kicked him out for spending too much time skateboarding. He also formed the punk band Mike V and the Rats, and also Revolution Mother. But in 2003, he filled in on lead vocals for Black Flag. And in 2013, he became the lead singer for Black Flag, which he still is today. If you go see Black Flag in concert, Mike Vallely's singing. He also still skates, but not professionally. But you'll see him out at a skate park here or there. Many punk bands, some you've heard of, some maybe you haven't, got into having skate decks made with their logos and or album covers. Still a thing today. You know, if you would have bought them back in the day, some of them would be worth a lot of money now. And they cost a pretty penny now too, some of them, depending on the artwork. So that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this video. Just a little brief history of the marriage of skateboarding and punk rock music. You know, if we covered all the guys who were pro skaters or semi-pro and went punk rock, or punk rockers who like skating, we'd be here for 4 days. But you can do your own research, find the punk bands you like and see who's in them and who did what, when, and where. So anyway, I appreciate you watching, appreciate you taking the time. Get out there and skate, get out there to the punk shows, and we will catch you next time on Discover This.